The title of my project, Are All Soaps Created Equal, means are soaps going to wash your hands equally? Meaning, will all the soaps wash off all the glow germ equally? For my experiment, I was comparing the effectiveness of different brands, types of soap, prices, and ingredients. I chose this project because hand washing is very important, especially now during COVID-19. In addition, there are many types of soap on the market and many different prices, and I wanted to see, are they all created equal? For my friends and family, figuring out which is the best soap to use could help them from not getting sick or lowering their risks. I was curious if brands, types of soap, prices, and ingredients could influence this. I was also curious more after reading about certain types of soap, for example, antibacterial soap, since it doesn't just wash the germs off your hand, but it actually kills them. My procedure explained how to use the glow germ, how to wash your hands, and how to grade the results. To use the glow germ, put about the size of a nickel on your hands, as explained on their website. And then you're going to rub your hands together, making sure you're coating your palms, between your fingers, between your thumbs, and on the back of your hands. You apply the glow germ the same as you would when you apply hand cream. Put your hands under an ultraviolet light and take a picture. This is your before picture. After, put your hands under some warm water and wash your hands for 20 seconds, which is the Government of Canada guidelines for washing. And take special care with your palms, back of both your hands, between your thumbs, between your fingers, and underneath your fingernails. Rinse your hands under the warm water and then dry your hands with a paper towel or towel. Again, put your hands under the ultraviolet light and take another photo. This is your after photo. You will be comparing your before and after photos on a rating from 0 to 10. 0 meaning none of the glow germ washed off, and 10 meaning all of the glow germ washed off. You can find that in my procedure. The purpose of this experiment was to test different soaps and see which soap makes your hands the cleanest by using glow germ that stimulates bacteria under an ultraviolet light to show how much glow germ is removed. For my experiment, I used 7 different soaps. I used Dove Foaming Hand Wash, Pow's Foaming and Moisturizing Hand Wash, Soft Soap Soothing Aloe Vera, Equate Original Soap, Paris Soap Free, Dial Foaming Antibacterial Soap, and Dove Moisturizing Bar of Soap. From the 7 different soaps, I compared the price, the brand, the type, and ingredients. To compare the before and after of each soap, I made a rating scale 0 to 10. 0 meaning none of the glow germ washed off, and 10 meaning all of the glow germ washed off. I also got a second and third opinion to make sure that my results or my observations were more accurate. Overall, some of my results were surprising and some are not. One of my surprising results was from the brand Paris, which was soap-free. It cost $4.99 and the average was an 8, meaning most of the glow germ did wash off. 2 of my averages that were one of my worst and that weren't so surprising was an average of 2.67 from the brand Equate, costing $1. The other average was a 3.33 from the brand Pow's, costing $1.50. This shows me that the price can matter. Also though, the antibacterial soap that I tested on was all over the place. From person 1, the result was an 8. From person 2, the result was a 6. And from person 3, the result was a 3. My hypothesis is that each individual person focused on a certain part of washing their hands, so they didn't catch all those other areas. In the real world, people who could use my results might be doctors. Doctors would be able to tell a patient, possibly someone with a compromised immune system, how to lower the risk of getting sick. Another person to use my results could be a scientist. Scientists would be able to test more people quickly. They would be able to test more soaps, get a wider variety, more quicker, and with their professional equipment, they would most likely get more accurate results. Another thing that they would also be able to do is all these things, they could possibly test them more quickly. Another person that could use my results could be someone who makes advertisements. They would be able to test or take a professional scientist test or my test, and they would be able to see how well their soap did compared to other soaps. They can say, our soap is the best because, and show a picture of your favorite soap saying that, comparing the photos saying that this doesn't get any of it off. A difficult part of my project was the procedure. I wasn't sure to do the rating scale if 0 was the best or the worst, or if 10 was the worst or the best. I decided by thinking, what is most common in asking a teacher and a parent? I came to the conclusion that 0 is the worst, being none of the glow germ washed off, and that 10 is the best, being all of the glow germ washed off. I also had a difficult time grading some of my scales for the different soaps. I solved this by printing off them, and then I graded them, and then the photos that got the same grades, I compared them to make sure that they look similar. One more thing that was just difficult was deciding if I should test in school or not. I had to consider that we could have gone into lockdown at any moment and not have been able to do the experiment. If we were at home and I couldn't have been able to control the experiment, things could have gone wrong. For example, they could have used too much glow germ or not enough. They may have used the wrong soap. They may not be following washing protocol, or they may not be taking the picture clearly at the end. I need the pictures to be clear because that's how I'm going to compare with the least bias possible. But one major factor that pushed me over the edge in school or at home, it would have been too dangerous to share the supplies, so I just used everybody in my household. To extend my research, I could test more soaps, and because of this, my results would have a bigger variety. I could also test with different temperatures of water. My hypothesis that I should test with different temperatures of water is because there's always a reason, and it could affect how well the soap reacts to the different temperatures of water, as well as everybody recommends using it. For example, the Government of Canada, which was the guidelines I followed, that said that we should use warm water. I also couldn't get as much participants as I would like, but since of COVID-19, that wasn't possible. Finally, I could have tested different washing times. Whilst I followed the Government of Canada 20-second washing guidelines, 20 seconds might have not been enough for all my soaps, but for example, 40 or 50 seconds may have been. I used the scientific method for all of my projects. First, I had to decide what my topic and my title was going to be. I decided this by brainstorming and talking about it with others. Secondly, I had to decide what was my purpose and hypothesis. I decided this by thinking and talking it with friends and family. Thirdly, I made my background research, and I was analyzing data and facts. Then I had to make my materials list before carrying out testing, and then to make my observations, and finally analyzing all that data. By analyzing my results, my data, I was able to create my graphs to visually show the results. Finally, I used the scientific method for making my speech. I had to analyze all of my data from my project and then talk about it. I enjoyed this project very much, and it was very cool to learn about different kinds of soaps. For example, the soap-free soap, which was one of my best averages.